Patience is key to success. Let's talk about it. Roll it. Patience. Patience. I think a lot of people hate that word, don't they? But it's true. Patience wins the race, especially when you're doing something that is a big goal, something that is all out there. When your purpose changes into a massive mission where you know you're going to do something incredible, well, patience is required. Procrastination is the opposite, really, if you think about it. Procrastination is when you are procrastinating to achieve what you're trying to achieve. When we look at patience, we need to be able to really look at where we're heading and really understand that, hey, all these factors play a role in me getting to where I need to be. It's the environment that we got to look at of who we are amongst other people, amongst our actual physical environment with what exists and the technology we have available to achieve the things we want to achieve. And lastly, it's this. It's our mindset. It's something like procrastination that creeps in. And how do we get along? So how can we increase our level of patience? Quite simply, it's looking at what we are doing and finding the value that exists within what we are doing. And then it's simply being trustworthy of ourselves. This thing called trust is important, okay? And saying, I trust me. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm heading in the right direction, and I don't need to run. Walking is a great pace. See, the problem is we compare ourselves a lot in this environment we live in, and we use any means necessary to procrastinate, to slow us down and push us off the side of where we're heading. Once this starts to happen more and more, well, guilt starts piling in, and then the failure mentality picks up, and then all of a sudden we're derailed. Patience helps us stay the course. It helps us be where we need to be. If you missed yesterday's video, it was all about not feeling guilty, or how to deal with guilt rather, when we're not where we're supposed to be. And the question really begs, why do we feel like that? Patience is something that we should be taught as children. A lot of the times we're not. If we were lucky to have a good support system, not just parents, but teachers, aunts, uncles, and friends, etc., then you would have this great patience skill set within you. But we often don't, and we don't learn it until later on in life. And this is one of the things, like I learned my patience, a great extent came from that group support system I had at a younger age, but most of it came with hot yoga. I wouldn't have guessed it. I mean, they tell you about it, but when you go in it and you're sitting there, you're like, this will never work. And you're like, what am I doing here? And 8 months later, a year later, you're like, oh wait, I think this is working. And if you continue on it and you practice, because that's all patience is practicing, well, then you have patience. It's quite an amazing feeling to be able to say, I can be patient. Now, am I patient with everything? No, of course not. I am not patient with many things. However, when I'm in a situation where I need to be patient on certain things, where I know I need patience to succeed, well, I can implement it like that. Now, you might ask, well, what are some things that I wouldn't be patient on? And I can tell you, I cannot stay patient in traffic for some reason. I don't know. And that's one of my things I keep working on. However, I just feel that, hey, why am I here? And then I start thinking in that route. And then I know once I start thinking that route, I got to work on being patient in that setting. I do avoid traffic at all costs, and I'll leave at different times so I don't hit traffic. And at the end of the day, how am I helping myself with that? Well, I'm doing more work because I'm making sure I have everything taken care of and moving at a different time instead of sitting in traffic for 3 hours. Patience is really the key to success in many of these situations, because it helps our mindset stay focused on what is that purpose, that goal we have that we need to achieve. It keeps us in a straight line. And when we look at patience from a grand scheme of things, in most situations, how many times have you walked away being like, man, if I was just patient a little bit more, I would have succeeded even more. It's just one of those life lessons we learn as we get older, that patience counts, and that's the reality of life. We experiment by doing, and then we learn after. The lesson always comes after, and you know, that's one of the things we have to understand as a human being, that this is life, and we can't get upset at ourselves, or else guilt will come in, and then failure comes by very quickly. In this series, I'm going to talk about patience even more, because I think patience plays a critical role in our success. I believe the people who actually find success will actually be the ones that you see with a lot of patience. They're the ones that have mastered certain techniques in whatever they're doing. It doesn't mean that they're patient in everything. It just means in that one thing that they're doing, they're patient, and they're working towards that greater good that they've set out for themselves. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. If this is your first time here, hit a like, hit a subscribe, and of course, hit the bell so you get those daily motivations, so that you can get your mindset moving in the right direction.
Snow again.